Hi, MC Bling Daddy here. Welcome to my world. This video is intended to introduce a coding language that uses a higher level syntax and that can be used to generate command blocks executable in your Minecraft world to carry out in that world the equivalent of code you write. The current version presented here is an initial proof of concept effort that is based on previous concepts explained in videos I've published on this site before. Now, preliminary conversion of your gaming code to Minecraft commands is carried out by a Python script, available in the comments area below this video. These commands are then entered into Minecraft either through the client, in the command entry box, or through a server directly into the server command window. But they work with the command block coding engine, the chain command block version that you will have already inserted into your world. Coding engine insertion is also done either through the client or through a server. Several videos are available here to show you how it can be done quickly via automated processes. There are abundant sources of Python to execute the script with, and the commands to create the coding engine in your world can be downloaded from the comments section of a recent video. Python is a commonly used programming language. Interfaces and execution engines are readily available on the web. You'll have to work that out for yourself. I use a Visual Studio version, but the Visual Studio Community version can be had without charge. Let's take a look at the coding functionality in the current gaming code version. The list of functions and variations can be found in the comments section of this video page. Most of the reserved words are essentially functions, or methods, and they take parameters. For example, takes 4 parameters, name of the for variable to use, and starting, ini, final, fin, and incremental, inc, values. Any code that would be converted to commands needs a name, like setpt, setpoint, that is the same as an entry point in the coding engine. So switch would not actually generate anything because only case and switch end are represented. On the other hand, new row takes 0 parameters, but it is definitely in the coding engine. Also see my recent video on the chain block coding engine for more detail. Functions that are to be executed inside case statements require an additional identifier, a lowercase I, immediately following the name of the function. So set I, for example. In addition, for functions that involve variables, including constants, or for variables, indicators v or f may be needed when for variables are involved to say which types are referenced. So set fv would mean set a for named variable and an objective, like L space rem, the number of loops remaining in L, to a var variable using only the variable name, like lrem. The code line would be set vf tab lrem space equals space l space rem. Putting the assignment part inside parens rather than using a tab would work as well. Set I would be used inside a case for assigning a var variable or a constant to a var variable, like set I tab rinc equals 1. So set means both parameters are variables. Set vf, a var variable, is set to a for variable. In this case, the for objective must be included as well as the name. Typically, this will reference the cur objective, for example, I cur, the current value of the I for variable. But other objectives can be used if needed. Related is set fv, assignment the other way around, of a var variable to a for objective. For example, ifin, the final value of the for loop. Set ff, I think you can figure that one out. So set ivf would be the same function as var to for var, but used inside a case. The use of variable versus for variable is a complication based on the pre-existing coding engine and may change in the future. Case is slightly different. There is a general statement that takes any test provided, but the typical test is if the cur value for a for variable is a var value, so the objective is not used. The conversion table used to generate the commands for creating code-equivalent commands is also found in the comments section of this page. These are used by Python to substitute the parameters you use in your code into the command template. Your code is read by Python from a file, gamecode.txt. For each line of code, the equivalent conversion lines are found in the conversion table in the file command_convert.txt, cmd_cnv.txt. Based on the first name in the code line, e.g. setpt, setPoint, and the parameters you provide are substituted in the corresponding lines of the conversion table, which are then output to a file, mccommands.txt. For the conversion to work, there must be no gaps in the code, except for specific separators, such as a tab between entity names and world locations. An exception is spaces between the elements of a location. For example, wc tab tilde space tilde space tilde. Also, left parens and commons are reserved, for example, to delineate parameters from function names and other parameters. Quotes are ignored, so a comma within a quote delineated string will act as a parameter separator. Sorry, this is just a proof of concept. Maybe later. And finally, a space equals space is also used as a separator and can be used, for example, in a set statement to aid in clarity. Once the code is converted into commands, they are fed into a world containing a coding engine. They modify the coding engine, and then the function in the coding engine is executed. This results in command blocks that mimic the original code line you created. See my recent video on how to automate transmission of long command lines from a file, such as are generated by the Python converter, into a Minecraft Java world, or even a Minecraft server. Because the interpreter that converts code to commands was made as simple as possible, no errors or warnings are reported currently. Let's take a look now at a code example, its conversion, and its execution. The code constructs a multi-unit dwelling. It was presented as pseudocode in a presentation for the previous version of the coding engine. Check it out to help you understand how the code functions. Not shown are the once-in-a-world execution statements to define for var objectives, ini, fin, and so on. Objectives do not require redefining every time a world is opened. Names of entities that reference these objectives will become the for var variables that are used for coding and commands, as well as used in named reference points in the command block area for transfer of command execution. For example, u and uend in the u for loop. The start of code defines regular variables to be used in this code example. They are objectives that will be referenced by the var entity. The code here is the same as the pseudocode presented previously. It is simply modified to specify what type of variables are being used in the conversion process, var variables or for variables, or to indicate inclusion in a case execution. Place the code in the file gamecode.txt and run the Python script. Minecraft commands created by Python are intended to work with the coding engine. As they are fed into the world, they update blocks in the coding engine. Then, when prepped, the coding engine function is executed. It is the coding engine execution process that actually generates command blocks. The Python commands simply direct the coding engine as to how to produce the coding area command blocks that will be executed when your code has been fully processed. The commands resulting from the conversion by Python are fairly long, too long for a game client command box, and you wouldn't want to enter them manually anyway. They can, however, be loaded into a Minecraft world either by copy-paste from the file into a server command window, or they can be uploaded to the world using an AutoHotkey script designed to use command block command entry functionality. If my video on how to do this isn't already out, it will be shortly. If we execute the coding engine generated command blocks, we get the construction process specified in the gaming code. The process at this point is simply proof of concept, as mentioned before. Some changes in variable representation and some additions to the Python script could make coding more user-friendly and add more functionality. But for now, it does seem to work adequately. Well, that's about it. It's been fun and challenging. Thanks for watching. Ta!